So my point of view on this is that, it's funny, this is a good time, Stefan, I know you'll be editing, link up the 60 years, 6 minutes for 60 years video. In the opening line of that video, I say that the video is gonna go viral. I don't think there's a formula for going viral. I really don't, because if there was, then there would be more people that could do it 40, 50, 100 times. I think there's concepts. There's concepts over here, which is you goat or bait or get the attention of somebody who's got a humongous audience. You bring them value in some way or do something unique, because everybody's doing that to Casey. And she clearly did something that was stronger, better, more interesting, or just a moment in time. D-Rock was the 1,000th person that emailed me and said, I want to make videos for you. At that moment, I was ready. I was open for it. It worked. So it's a timing thing sometimes. So there's going after a big wig to put you on, what Dr. Dre did for Snoop. Right? It's a very common thing in the rap game. You give somebody a verse, it's a big song, they're a big artist, boom, the game changes. That happens in influencer marketing. There's what I did with the 6 minutes for 60 years. When I made that video, I knew that I was making it for 30 to 60-year-old entrepreneurs, so I targeted 30 to 60-year-olds on Facebook who were also into Shark Tank and other entrepreneurial things, which gave it the match to get it going. So I think Facebook ad targeting for video, and I think influencer marketing, putting them on, are two formulas that work.
My advice personally is to keep at it. Like it's something that I literally do 7 days a week. There is not one day that I've taken off in the last 5 years. You have to just crush it. You have to just.
There is one thing. I do think that there's the 3-4 years and then you have your moment. I mean, you look at it, it happens all the time in real life. Amy Schumer's career has been going on for a decade. She's been like, Kevin Hart was working at that shit for 12, 14, and you have your moment. The problem is, one thing that I want people to know is, it's not necessarily your numbers growing, it's how do you feel about it. Currently, my Snapchat numbers are not growing. I've hit my kind of 30,000 views, and I've been there for about a month. I feel fine with that because I feel like I'm getting better at it. I know what I want to do next. I know I've been studying on doing other things because the book has been coming out. Like, I feel content with myself even though that's against the numbers. Too many people, and this is, I'm sure, like something we all think about, you're gonna be thinking about it when you see the podcast numbers as you start this new venture. This market is absolutely way too deeply focused on numbers. Now, Nick and Demondo, like they're a platform, people buy on numbers. I get it. You make your short-term money on numbers. You make your short-term.
Not long game.
That's right. You make your short-term money on numbers. So I would say, who's the person again, India? Nicole. I would say if you feel like you're moving the needle, then and you feel like you're getting closer, if you can taste it, none of us can tell you, then you keep at it. If you're watching right now and you've been trying to build your brand for 24 months, 36 months, you felt completely stagnant, both in the numbers, both in the heat. You don't get recognized, less selfies, no mention, no friend even know you're doing it. If you feel stagnant, I actually compare this to wrestling. So stick with me. I don't know if I know you talk about coconut oil, but I'm gonna talk about WWF wrestling for a minute. When you look at gimmicks, right? Gimmicks is like when you're Mr. Perfect or the Red Rooster or what have you. There's a lot of wrestlers who have 3 or 4 gimmicks and then they become Stone Cold Steve Austin. And they've been 4 other things and it didn't take, but the new thing works. Now the difference there is that's a character. I could have stopped doing the wine thing and started a Jets thing and I could be on ESPN right now. Whatever, and then I did a business thing. I had 3 things that I could have probably done as me. Wine, business, and the Jets. Now I've done 2. I may become a sports writer. If you have other interests, if you're doing a blog about root beer or about skateboarding, but you're also into clothes or jam or rollerblading, if you feel very stagnant for 2 or 3 years, your system and your thing might be right, but your topic may be wrong to you. It may not be that moment in time. So
it is real that you have to have talent. If you don't have talent in this industry, I think you are going to get washed away. So you have to know who you are, like you said. Like you have to remain authentic to yourself. And if you think you have talent to be a blogger, then blog every damn day.
How long were you doing YouTube before this moment?
I started YouTube in like 2012, and then I was consistent this past August. And so I think you have.
What made you? What happened in August that made you get really going?
I was like, I want to build a business someday, and I know having an audience is valuable. And so I just started with travel vlogs. I love filmmaking. I love making videos. And so it wasn't hard for me because I love doing it. And I also think that interaction with people is so important. You can look at the numbers all day, but who is like mentioning you on Twitter? who is retweeting things, who is favoriting things, and maybe
Is Twitter an important platform for you?
Yes, it has been so interactive. I only have about 5,000 followers, but everyone is so interactive, and it's an awesome way to meet.
Do you interact with your YouTube comments?
Yes, okay, so glad you asked that question, because when I had 3,000 followers, I made it a habit to comment to every single comment. Every single comment. It's hard to do it now.
It's so crazy to watch you guys spur up from all the theses that I wrote 7-8 years ago. It's so crazy.
I know.
It's, like, crazy
I
for me
read
to
Crush
watch.
It like recently, and I was like, "Holy shit, he predicted the future." It is weird. It is weird.
I'm telling you, I read that influencer chapter today in your new book, and it's refreshing to have somebody with such a loud voice say it, because it's what we have been thinking and working on and saying for 5-6 years now.
Sure. Of course.
My whole platform has been not competing, collaborating.
Yeah, it's huge.
Of course. When you're starting from the bottom, you absolutely either need money, you need an absolute unbelievable skill set of talent, or you need to siphon awareness from other places. But too many people like hit up people like, hey, you have 1 million followers on Twitter, can you give me a shout out? No.
What kind of value are you offering that?
100%. And really not even like structuring like, and not the email that says, what can I do for you to do this for me? It's just doing it. And then like, you didn't text Casey and say, hey, I'm gonna do this for you.
Yeah.
Like you did it.
Yeah, and I had 4,000 people who really cared about me because I had built that relationship with my YouTube audience for years. And so when at the end of the video, I was like, all right guys, let's tweet this to Casey. Let's get it to him. People were stoked about it.
Jace Norman, the Nickelodeon star, did the same thing to me. Like all of a sudden I just got on a plane and had like 7,000 tweets from the Norman Maniacs or whatever.